Hey everybody, welcome back to the Print 3D channel. We got some new filament to check out. This is Verbatim PLA. We already unboxed it and we did a couple of prints, and I want to share my first impressions with you guys, so stick around. Before we begin, a little disclaimer. This filament was sent to us for free for review on the channel. We were not compensated in any way for the unboxing, review, or our opinions. Hey everybody, welcome back, and thank you for joining me here for the unboxing and first impressions of Verbatim PLA. At CES last year, we were visiting the Verbatim booth, and we were looking for some samples of filament to try out on the channel. And at the time, the channel was pretty small, and we had just started the 365 project. They didn't have any 1.75 filament on hand, but the representative said he would send some to me. And about a month later, a box of filament arrived. But we had prior commitments during the 365 project, and as much as I really wanted to test out new filaments and have a lot of other content going on, I just didn't have the time. So the filament sat. So as soon as we finished the 365 project, if you were following me on social media, the first thing I did was pop open the boxes and check out this new filament. The packaging on the PLA is really good. It's really well marked exactly what's inside the box. There's even a QR code on the side, and there's warranty information on the back. There's a nice little handle on the top too for easy storage. The packaging is really nice. It's some heavy-duty cardboard. The plastic inside that seals the roll of PLA, it's actually some really heavy-duty sealed, vacuum-packed sealed. I do like the white spool. It's a really nice change from all the black spools that we've gotten in the past. It's very well marked too, so you can see exactly what you got, and there's even a lot number if you need to report a problem with the filament. And I do like this heavy-duty plastic. The vacuum seal was really, really nice. So we just popped it open. And of course, safety first. Make sure you put your knives to the side. And when I opened up the package, you could definitely smell that fresh PLA. And like I said, heavy-duty plastic. Inside the center of the spool holder was your desiccant bag, and it's a really nice one. It's not your standard desiccant bag. I think it even shows when it expires. On the spool, you can see it was clearly written what kind of filament you got, and this is their red, and it's a very deep, rich color. I really like this a lot. There is a piece of silver tape that holds the end of the filament on, and I found it to be a little bit difficult to get off, which is actually good. I would rather have it be a little bit challenging to get the little end of the filament off than have it just be loose or even broken because it's been set into one of the holes. So once I got that little piece of silver foil loose, I could get the end of the filament. Now normally I like to clip off about a good 1.5 feet of filament because sometimes at the end of the roll there might be some change in the way the filament extruding system works. So I just clipped off a little end and I set it to the side. Then I'll spool out about another 2 or 3 feet and I'll clip it into one of the little holes so we can do our bend and clip test. And this is some really flexible filament too. I really like it a lot. I can already tell it's going to pass that bend test really nicely. So once we got everything out of the way, we did our bend test. And it took quite a few bends at 90 degrees and 180 degrees and spinning it around just to get the filament to come apart. And I like that a lot. That's a good sign right off the bat. So I went ahead and grabbed my cutters and I did the clip test, and you can hear it. And that's a nice clean clip. It isn't hard, it isn't soft, it's that right in between area for the filament. I noticed right away that it's got these little slots on the side so you can see how much filament you have left, and it's on both sides in 2 spots. And there's plenty of holes to secure your filament too. Now that we have the filament out of the box, the first thing I printed was the Cali Cat, and this is one of my favorite test objects to print. I really like this little model because it has a lot of precise measurements on it, and it's got some overhangs and areas that you can really check your settings. And it's a good opportunity for me to check the settings on my G-Max 1.5 XT Plus before we continue printing with this new filament. And the print itself, it turned out awesome. There were absolutely no problems whatsoever. We used all these standard settings in Simplify 3D, and the print actually looks really, really good. I am super happy with the results. Once we were done with printing the Cali Cat in red, I couldn't resist and I had to open up the black filament. So of course, we loaded up another Cali Cat just to make sure the settings and everything was dialed in with the printer and this new filament, and it turned out awesome too. There were absolutely no problems. There is a little bit of stringing on this filament, but I think that's a temperature issue because I'm currently running between 205 and 206 on the hot end. And the print itself, it turned out great. All the little features are there. Everything about the little Cali Cat printed out pretty perfectly. Once we were done with that print, I did queue up a Benchy because I haven't printed a Benchy in quite some time on the G-Max 1.5 XT Plus. During the 365 project, I really didn't need to do it. And the print itself, it turned out really good. I am super happy with the results. This is a very clean Benchy. One thing I didn't do was I didn't change my seam setting. So there's some blobs on the boat itself, and there's a couple of areas that were a little bit shaky. But the print itself, it really looks good. All the little overhangs look really, really nice. There were no problems whatsoever with this print, and I was really happy with it, so I knew it was time to move on with some other models to print that weren't test or calibration objects. So if you follow me on social media, the next thing I printed out was the Eye of Agamotto Stand by the Broken Nerd. And this print turned out amazing. There were no problems whatsoever. I really love this model. I do have to adjust my cooling settings just a little bit because it is a little rough on this edge. But I am going to sand and finish certain areas of the print, and then I'm going to make it for a display model as I start to finish the Eye of Agamotto model that I'm working on currently in the finishing process. But the print itself, it looks really, really good. There are absolutely no problems whatsoever with this. So I knew it was time to print out one more thing before I started to wrap up what I thought was my first impressions of this Verbatim filament. And that's the Lion HD model. Now the reason why I printed this is it's got a really good set of detail on it. It's a very high polygon model, and it's a really good test for your filament. And it turned out amazing. This is one of the best Lion models I've ever printed. It looks really, really good. All the little problems that I had worked out with the other previous test prints have gone away on this print. There was literally no stringing, no wisping, no problems whatsoever. And I'm super happy with it. And this Verbatim black filament is awesome. It's got kind of a satin finish to it. It looks really, really good. And it prints just like butter. There are really no problems whatsoever. It's super opaque too. This is one of those very deep, rich color pigment filaments too. And I really like that a lot. Now I plan on printing out some really cool stuff with this filament to do an overall print with everything that I have. And to be honest, I've already started printing a lot of it. And I only have a little bit of black left. So you can tell I've really been printing with this filament. So I have a really good idea of what's going on with it. So after all those prints and everything that we've done with the Verbatim filament, these are my first impressions. This is some really great filament. It is a little bit expensive. You can get this filament on Amazon, and I believe Lulzbot actually carries this. It seems to be that their focus is the 3mm or 2.85 diameter filament that they carry. They don't really carry a lot of the 1.75. As it was apparent at their booth at CES last year, they didn't even have any 1.75 on hand. But they do carry it, it's just a little bit difficult to find. And if you need 1.75, definitely check it out, because this is some really great filament. I had absolutely no problems whatsoever with the initial prints, and once I started moving into production of the big print that I'm doing, how I used up all that black filament and I'm already churning away at the red, I've had absolutely no problems whatsoever. The prints actually go down super smooth. That first layer is super, super clean. I've had no extruder issues. I've had no filament issues on the end results. And all the prints are coming out super, super clean. Like I said before, the pigment is super rich. That black filament on the first layer, you can't even see through it. The red you can a little bit, but I know red is a semi-translucent somewhat color anyway to get that good color. But the finished prints that have come out, like on the Cali Cat, are non-translucent. It's a very deep and rich color, so I'm super happy with that. As far as printability goes, like I said, it prints super, super easy. I definitely highly recommend using this filament if you can find it. Like I said, the 1.75 is very hard to locate, but if you have a printer that uses the 2.85 or 3mm, you're definitely going to find a lot of selection over on Amazon.com. And of course, I want to give a shout out to Verbatim for sending over the filament for us to test and use on the channel. Of course, we weren't compensated in any way, like I said in the beginning. We were just given the filament to test and review. We weren't paid for our opinion, the unboxing, or our final prints. Well, that about wraps it up for my unboxing and first impressions of Verbatim filament. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share those videos, and I'll see you guys soon.